Hey everyone, it's Jim Chapman with Chapman's Paint Place Podcast, and I am going to do a pretty cool podcast today. We're going to be talking to Restoration One. They are a restoration, fire, water, and mold remediation company right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They are really picking up in the market, so I thought it'd be a good idea to talk to them, kind of find out how they got started and what their goals are for the upcoming year. So we have Marissa and David Hofstetter. They are the owners of Restoration One of Baton Rouge. And so y'all just say hello.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
So they do fire and water restoration coatings, and they do a lot of mold remediation. But I just wanted to talk to y'all about how you got started. We'll start with Marissa. How long have y'all been in the business?
It's coming on a year and a half now.
Year and a half. And David, would you say what would you say was the key reason that you got into the restoration business?
Yeah, great question. So take it a little further back than the year and a half. So the Great Flood of 2016, August 12th, everyone here in the metro area certainly remembers that day, and probably, if not themselves, knew someone that was affected by the flooding that we had going on. At the time, I was in corporate America working for a small company called General Electric. Been around for a few years.
Yeah, very small.
Yeah. So we live in Denham Springs, and we unfortunately caught some of the flash flooding from the storm. We were pretty fortunate, though. Only had a couple inches of water in our house, but 2 inches or 2 feet, you're still going through the same principles of gutting your house, getting materials out, drying it out, that kind of thing. So kind of a few trips around the sun. I left GE and went to work for a regional home builder, and really fell in love with residential construction. I was in that side of the world for about a year and a half, and saw how some things were being done, and just kept thinking to myself, if I ever had the opportunity to start my own business, I'll be able to take some of these principles that I've learned and, make it my own. So as fate would have it, about 2 years ago, Marissa and I got approached by franchise named Restoration One, based out of Waco, Texas. And within 15-20 minutes of a phone conversation and doing our own research, well, we knew it was going to be a heck of an opportunity to jump into if things worked out. It took about 3 months. It was about a 3-month process, going through the franchise training agreement, getting everything lined out. But officially opened our doors in September of 2018, and just very thankful and humble. We've had a great experience so far, and we're continuing to look to grow our business.
Yeah, and I have kind of, obviously being in the paint coatings business myself, I paid a lot of attention to Restoration One and their growth. And their growth seems to be really well, they're on fire right now. They're growing at a good rate, which is what you want. And have a great reputation in the restoration community for sure.
Yeah, I'll say one thing on that, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
we came on, like I said, between June and September of 2018, and we were the 209th location in the country. And if the numbers serve me right, they expect to end 2020 somewhere around 400 locations across the country. So at one point, I think in 2017, it was named one of the fastest growing franchise, if not the fastest growing construction franchise in the country. So those guys over at the corporate office have done a great job, give great support, and we're just thankful to have gotten in, not quite on the ground level, but maybe somewhere in the middle at this point.
Excellent. And a family business. Obviously, Marissa's also in the business here, and you have an interesting story. So what did you do before this? I know, but tell everybody else.
So I was an elementary teacher for 7 years, and was very excited to hear about this new opportunity when we were approached. I definitely wanted to be involved and be able to watch this business grow, not only to help others, but for our future and for our family. And so being able to be a part of this and watching that growth in the past year and a half has been truly humbling and amazing for me.
Wow. So you went from teaching kids to teaching people about mold fire and water.
Awesome. I still get to educate people.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that kind of speaks to who they are as people. Of course, all my listeners, we hopefully we all care about not only who the company is, but who the people are. And when you're dealing with folks such as this, I know these folks personally. You're going to get a not only a great job, but you're going to deal with people that are good people. They're not going to take advantage of you. Far too often in the construction industry, you run into people that are desperate just to take advantage of people that they think don't know any better. So when you run across a professional company that has a great reputation, jump on it. David, one thing I wanted to ask you, in your opinion, what would you say your primary job, as far as, I know you do it all, but what do you do more than anything else as far as with Restoration One? Is there something that stands out that you continuously do more than anything else, or that you specialize in more than anything else?
Yeah, great question. So my answer to that would actually be, a form of a water loss. The really common examples we see would be, let's say a 15 or 20-year-old hot water heater that, unfortunately, sorry about that.
That's all right. We're live.
Yeah. A 15 or 20-year-old hot water heater that just might be at the end of its life and might blow up in the middle of the night, or, we've worked a couple bathtub overflows here in the last couple weeks where, believe it or not, someone goes to run a bath, falls asleep, wakes up 5 hours later, and realizes they flooded half their house. That happens more often than you might think. But for us, most of it is geared towards what I'll call your everyday water losses, some type of system in the house, the plumbing, the drain, the dishwasher, maybe an appliance, just finally gave out, or a drain line underneath your sink became jarred loose after time. And of course, anytime, what I'll say is a lot of these leaks may go undetected for quite some time, which is where we get into a lot of mold remediation. We've done a few here in the last couple of weeks where dishwashers, a little bit over time, every cycle they run every day, maybe a half gallon of water runs out. And then after all of a sudden, after 6 months, they realize that it's been leaking all over the place. And now we've got a mold issue. So again, most of our work is geared towards the residential, what we refer to as everyday water losses, some type of appliance or system like that is causing trouble for these folks.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And, one thing I'll say that we discussed earlier is with mold, it is nothing to play with. Usually by the time you start seeing signs, it's time to get someone in there and really have them look at it, because you could have a problem behind those walls that has existed for a while that you didn't know about. It's not just something that's aesthetically unsightly. You don't want to look at mold, obviously, but you're breathing that in. You're breathing it in your body, and of course you can Google all kinds of information on what that can do. But these folks, one great thing about them, they're 24/7. So if you have a problem in the middle of the night and you need to call Restoration One and get them to resolve it, they're on it. And that is something that, you can't get from a standard company that's just a small contractor that doesn't have that Restoration One name behind them, and the experience these folks do at educating themselves. I would imagine, David, that mold and water restoration, fire restoration, all these things are just a constant education process. Probably changes daily.
Definitely. So the governing body of our industry is called the IICRC. They come up with continuing education courses, just as in most industries. But yeah, it's constantly evolving, right? A method that may have been used in years past, someone, it could be one of us, it could be someone from another company, might come up with maybe a more efficient way or new piece of equipment to do something. And just like any industry, with technology, it's rapidly advancing. I'll say even in the 2 years we've been in, with some of these training courses we went to, 19, 20 months ago, we're using new techniques because something else has come out. So it's definitely a constant education. And at the end of the day, we're in other people's homes. This is where they go to escape from the world. And you've definitely got to be mindful of that when you're going in and out of these folks' homes and businesses for that matter. So it's always definitely about just taking care of that customer and educating them on what happened, why it happened, and hey, here's what we can do to possibly prevent it from you having to call me again.
Absolutely. And so, David, you're the boots on the ground. You're on the job sites and you're overseeing these things. And Marissa, you're kind of you're the marketing guru, I would imagine, for Restoration One. So you're going out and you're getting the word out, and you're letting people know who you are, what you do, and what you're about, which I think is, in my world of sales, what you're about matters almost as much as what you're selling. So it's very important that you have someone that represents that not only is educated in what is possible for Restoration One to do for that customer, but also your belief system, which is an important aspect to a lot of folks. So is marketing something that you would say you enjoy a whole lot, and you really, I would imagine you really like to get out there and talk to folks, tell them about it.
Absolutely. So everyone that I come in contact with knows a company that provides the same services as we do. But the battle is building that relationship and showing them that they can trust us. And as David said, trust us in their home, trust us to do the right thing, trust us to be honest and to do the best work. And we also do the rebuild as well. So we're turnkey from start to finish. So we want them to see that we're going to take that stress off of their back. We're going to streamline it. We're going to deal with the adjusters and the insurance companies directly. And that we're here to help them, because honestly, when people call us, they're having a pretty bad day. And we're here to make that a much easier situation. And at the end of all of it, to say, hey, I'm going to refer you to my friends and family because I wouldn't want anyone else doing this job.
Fantastic. Yeah, and I think you hit all the key points there of the other side of the construction process, the sales process, even dealing with restoration. That is a big aspect of construction, and things can happen, and y'all are kind of the superheroes that come in there and save the day. And for you to be cognizant of the fact that, hey, these people, they're not calling you because they're happy. They're in a bind. And especially with restoration, people don't understand exactly the steps. They're kind of freaked out. And so it's great to have a company such as Restoration One to come in there and kind of put their mind at ease and say, hey, we got this. Let us handle it. And you're not going to have to think any more about it, because we're going to make everything right for you. So the last thing and the most important thing, I want to tell all the listeners out there, I could do like an hour-long podcast with these folks. We caught them in the middle of a job, and so we're going to let them get back to work, and we're going to do one later on. We can really sit down and dive into what they're wanting to accomplish here in the Baton Rouge area. But tell us how to get in contact with you. If somebody does have a problem, David, what's the best way to contact?
Yeah, sure. So we're on. Of course, we've got phone numbers, emails, that kind of thing. We're definitely on social media platforms, Facebook.com/R1EBR. But definitely the best way to get in touch with us is a good old-fashioned phone call. You can reach us at area code 225-277-0807. That rings to everyone's cell phone here on the team. And so you're guaranteed to get picked up and get some type of answer or something scheduled. But good old-fashioned phone call is definitely the best way to get to us. And I'll let Marissa talk a little bit about our Facebook page. She runs that and posts job updates. And you never know where we might be doing maybe a customer giveaway, that kind of thing. I'll let her speak on that.
Yes, and also he said we're available 24/7, but we also do free estimates. So a lot of people are hesitant because they're not sure that they want to make that investment right now, especially if it's, say, something like mold. But we'll come out and put eyes on the job, and David will give you an honest estimate. And a lot of times, if let's say it's an odor job and it's cheaper to replace your carpet than it is to actually get odor removal done, he'll be honest with you and tell you it's cheaper to just go get new carpet. But he can't do that unless he comes out and actually looks at the job, which is why we do it for free.
We are going to interrupt this broadcast just for 1 second so we can thank our sponsor.
So speaking of the Facebook page, we do post pictures and videos from jobs. We put educational tidbits on there, what things to look out for, fire hazards, and different things related to the holiday or the season at that time. As David said, when we go to trade shows or other events, we'll post when we're going to be there. We usually do some sort of giveaway, which is very easy to enter as long as you're present. But that's just a great way for you to keep in contact with us, know what's going on, and also get those educational pieces just to keep us front of mind, because you don't plan for one of these events to happen. It is usually an emergency, and you want to know who to call.
Awesome. Thank y'all very much for taking time to speak to us today. I can't speak highly enough about these two folks. Reach out to them on their Facebook, call them on the phone if you have an issue. But if you're just curious about more of what they do and the services they offer, their Facebook page is a really great source for getting that information. So it's Jim Chapman with Chapman's Paint Place Podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I look forward to bringing you more and more interesting podcasts from the construction industry, everything to do from with paint to restoration to roofing. So more in the future to come. Thank you very much. Everyone have a great day.